Hello everyone, Storm 101 here. Today we take a look into the tropics. Here we got, I think that's how you pronounce Paulette. I think that's how you pronounce it. And then you got Rene. That's right there as well. Both of those are actually tropical storms. We'll be talking about those two. And I'm sure everybody's concern is going to be towards disturbance number one that's closer to home. Um, we got a 40% chance in the next 5 days. In the next 48 hours, got a low end for 30% chance. So it's not really a high chance by any means there, but it does have a chance of becoming at least a tropical depression. Then we have disturbance number two, which has a 70% chance in the next 5 days there. So, but let's first talk about everybody's concern right now, and that's disturbance number one, right here, that'll be heading into the Carolinas fairly soon. Now, it's not called of an invest just yet here, so we don't have the hurricane models on it. So, but currently it's right around here. Uh, at least what the Euro has placed it. But you can see it. Um, kind of dies out. It's a very disorganized low. Kind of makes it. It's also very hard to tell. It seems like it completely dies out from the European model, but the GFS actually picks it up. You can see here. Uh, Early Thursday morning, you do get some showers and thunderstorms along with this system here. If we take a look to sustained winds with this, pretty much like nothing really. Not really a tropical system at all. Makes onto landfall. I'll say the primary threat will be some tropical rains out there. Really, that's it. Uh, Showing up there. If we take a look to the high res now, seems like it has a little bit more confined. Maybe right here. Maybe a little bit further south. But we'll be keeping an eye on that there. So far, doesn't have a really good chance of becoming a tropical system with that one. So that'd be disturbance number two. Let's talk about Paulette right here. Tropic storm Paulette. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I feel like I am, but anyways, it's got maximum sustained winds at 65 miles an hour. Then you got minimum pressure of 995 millibars. Moving pretty slow northwest at 6 miles an hour, so it's a pretty slow tropical storm there. So let's take a look into Paulette here. And as you can see here, it's going to be maintaining a tropical storm, what it seems, by the hurricanes there for the next 5 days or so. Although this here does have a chance of becoming a hurricane. Also, there's a chance for this thing to become a hurricane, really. Um, but you can see there's no threat to land in the cone here, so that's good news here. And it doesn't seem like it will have a threat to the United States at this point as well, but I think one area to watch for Paulette is Bermuda. So if anybody watching for Bermuda may need to watch this Paulette very closely here, but things could change a little bit further out there. So yeah, on that. So here's infrared satellite imagery. You can see it's definitely getting pretty well organized here. So I'll say it'll gain some strength again today, and I think it probably will reach hurricane strength very soon. Here's the tracks for the hurricane ball. So you can see in a general agreement, it will miss the lesser Antilles, Puerto Rico far to the north. So that's some good news there. Here's the intensity guidance here. You can see the majority of them keeping in a tropical storm strength, although it seemed like it may die down in the next uh, 48 hours to 72 hours, which is 2 to 3 days there. But I think it'll probably try to maintain at least a little bit of strength. I think there'll be a little bit of wind shear to deal with, which we'll take a look into that in just a moment there. Here's the GFS. It's almost at least the older version of the GFS installments. You can see are very large spread in the models. Um, it's just not a good thing at all. But you can see are in a general, uh, on an average kind of track here at the center of his models here. You can see are really does gain a little bit of intensity when it gets nearby to Bermuda. So we'll definitely have to watch it very closely there. Here's the actual GFS ensembles there. You actually see there's Bermuda right there. You can see the majority of them does take it near to Bermuda, so we're gonna have to watch that very closely for Bermuda there as well for Paulette. So that's it for Paulette, and if anybody's interested here, here's the tropical storm wind speed probabilities. Pretty good chance of it. As of right now, I'll say these numbers will increase, by each update. Then you got the arrival times. It seems like probably when it gets to Bermuda, probably about, I'll say about, not a week, but maybe 6 days for now, 5 to 6 days for now. But this is the earliest timing for it, at least for tropical storm wind. So, and again, we'll keep an eye on it very closely there. So that was Pute. Here's Rene here, and talk about a little bit of history about Rene right here. I It was a direct hit for the Cape Verde Islands there, which is the first time I think in many years. It's been many years since the last time they got hit by a tropical storm, and it's the first time in like I believe it's like 93 years or something like that. I could be wrong on that, but I've heard it's been a very long time since Cape Verde has seen a tropical storm landfall. So yeah, history's been made by rain already there if hitting Cape Verde Islands there, which is located um, down to your screen there. Here, let's get a better view. You can see we still have tropical storm warnings in effect, but I do expect those to expire probably today. But you can see a rain. They are forecasted for this storm system to become a hurricane by looks to be Wednesday night into Thursday. Probably Thursday morning at best is what it seems is when it's going to be happening, but then it dies down to a tropical storm. But you can see here, no threat to land afterwards, really. Probably for these islands here, but overall, there's no threat to land, which is good news there from rain as well. And if we take a look to hurricane models, we're going to take a little closer look on rain here because there's some things we're going to have to analyze here. So you can tell it seems like some dry air just got into the system here. If we take a look what the wind speed is right now, which I should have mentioned that earlier. It's 40-mile-per-hour winds with minimal pressure of 1,001 millibars. So it's a pretty weak tropical storm as of right now. I believe it's got hit by some a little bit of dry air, but there's also a little bit of wind shear. You'll be able to tell by the cloud movements. You actually see some cloud movements coming from the northwest here, coming into the system here. So it is finding some wind shear as of right now. So rain is started to struggle maintaining its strength, and it's really borderline. And if it dies down again today, it'll be a tropical depression again. But right now, it's a pretty disorganized system as of right now. So it's finding some wind shear and probably a little bit of dry air as well. So a pretty disorganized system there. And again, and here's what the hurricane models think about it. You can see it curves to the north there as well. And that's the same thing for some of the ensemble models. So you can see how it curves to the north. Same thing for your GFS ensembles as well. And here's your intensity guidance here as well. You actually do see here, we actually got hurricane models into the category 1 category, but we'll keep an eye on that. It's right now pretty disorganized. If it can get organized, this thing here may have a chance of becoming a category 1 hurricane, but we'll keep an eye on that very closely for rain though as well. So that's it for Disturbance 1, Tropical Storm, Paulette, and Rain. We got this disturbance right here, which has a 70% chance in the next 5 days. So let's take a look into that using the European model, which is kind of insane. So you got, now this is Thursday. Well, let's actually back this up to Wednesday so we have a little better idea. So you got disturbance number, I believe that's the number 1. Yeah, number 1. Right over here that'll be affected the Carolinas later this week. You got Paulette right here. You also got rain. That's also right here as well. If we move on to Thursday, you got Paulette still continuing to move to the west. One thing to notice, the reason why it's still continuing to move to the west is because you got a ridge of high pressure to the north. That's something we gotta watch here. But also another thing to keep an eye on is you actually got a little bit of troughing over here. So that's where rain is gonna be going, is towards that trough. That'll be over there as well. But you can see how high pressure really takes control of the weather there. And here comes disturbance number 2 right there already. There's Pluto, you got rain. Here's 8 o'clock here. Rain really starts to die down for the European model. You got Paulette, and then you got disturbance number 2, which really starts to gain strength. And then you got another tropical system coming off of Africa. Well, I should say tropical wave. And you can see how the ridge of high pressure really starts to break down. You can see that trough really starts to dig in between the ridges. So that's where these two systems will be going to. But we're going to keep an eye on this because there may be a chance that it'll probably miss the opportunity. But good news is rain looks like it'll be going to the north from the European model. You got another that's disturbance that has a 70% chance in the next 5 days. You got a new tropical wave. And here is Sunday. Rain starts to move to the north. Paulette continues to move to the west here. Goes by Bermuda, but then you get a trough right here. So it should miss the United States if this verifies right here. You can see if we go to Monday, you can see it starts to move to the north. You got high pressure that takes control over most of the United States right there around that time frame. Here's just there's disturbance number 2. You got another tropical wave coming in behind it. Continues to move to the east. Here's Tuesday afternoon here of next week. So this is a week from now. And then another tropical wave comes off from Africa there, which is pretty ridiculous. And then it seems like Paulette may affect Bermuda twice. So that is very unlucky for Bermuda if that verifies. But let's take a look at sustained winds here. So let's take a look at Paulette first. See sustained winds, tropical storm winds. But if we kind of back this up, actually that may not be Paulette. Yeah, it is Paulette. Never mind. But you can see here how Paulette does really slow down. It gets near to Bermuda. You know, tropical storm winds really. Pretty much a direct hit for Bermuda though, which is not good. Let's take a look at your disturbance number 2. At this point here, it's a tropical storm, and it affects the northern lesser Antilles there. Yeah, this will likely change. This is about 10 days out, so this will likely change. It's a hurricane at this point. Continues to intensify before it hits Puerto Rico, but again, this is likely going to change, and here comes your other tropical wave come behind it, which I'm sure the National Hurricane Center will mention another area, and then another one comes up behind it, which I'm not 100% sure if that's going to happen or not. Then you got Paulette really gaining strength, showing a hurricane pretty much up across the northern Atlantic. Let's move to the GFS around the same time. You actually don't see those two tropical waves like the European model does. And if we move to the GFS model here, it actually shows that same tropical disturbance number 2. Very similar in strength, although it's a little bit slower. And it's also a hurricane as well. So we got to keep an eye on that one very closely there as well, since we do have an agreement, the models. So let's move on to the GFS model here. So this is your, how much moisture, is in the atmosphere here. Brown is your dry air. Green is your, moisture. And as you can see here, if we kind of move down here, seems like some dry air may try to fight it. You can see here, Paulette, that's right here. Some dry air tries to get into the circulation, but doesn't quite make it into it. Then you got, this is actually quite different than your last run here, which is maybe the 6Z run, the time of making this video, but As we kind of get an updated look, this is a new 12Z run. So that's rain, that's right there. You got Paulette, you got your next tropical system, which actually takes a very different track to the north. And what's also very interesting, though, you get that kind of like the Fuji action there, which is very interesting to see from the GFS model. If you guys remember with Marco and Laura, it was forecast to have like a little Fuji effect. Well, the GFS is showing with disturbance number 2, and also as well as rain, so that'd be definitely something to watch there as well. But it's really the only model to show that, so we don't know if that's going to verify. Another thing to notice is also picking up a tropical storm in the southern Western Antilles, pretty much coming out of nowhere. So again, definitely something to watch here. But anyways, overall, the Atlantic is going to be fairly active for probably for the next week or two. So there'll be definitely something we're going to watch there. Here's some wind. Here's wind shear. You can see here for GFS prediction, Paulette is going to be really finding some wind shear. So that's one reason why it's going to be really dying down. It seems like that's going to be the same situation for rain right there. Then you got disturbance number 2. Seems like it does fight with wind shear as well. You can see how it moves to the north there as well. So yeah, there is going to be some wind shear, which has some good news there. There will be some wind shear out there, at least for forecasted from the GFS. Let's take a look into the 500 millibar geo potential height anomalies here. So your blues here, that's kind of your low pressure, and your reds, it's kind of your high pressure, you know, basically there. And we got to really keep an eye on this Bermuda high that's right here. That's going to be your main steering factor into all of this. So you got Paulette right there, you got rain right there. You can see here, you got a trough that moves in. You got a ridge of high pressure across the northeastern United States. Got another trough right over there. So there's a pretty good opportunity, if this verifies here, they can move to the north there as well. You can see with disturbance number 2 is coming in as well. Then you get a ridge of high pressure gets involved with that system, probably with some wind shear, and kind of dies out. But that's just as a forecast, likely going to change. But there is some good news that the Bermuda High may just be further west enough, and we may get a trough to the east of the Bermuda High, which is a possibility. So we definitely have to watch that very closely. But again, Bermuda High, it's going to be your main steering factor, and that'll be something to watch as well. But anyways, guys, this is all for you guys today. Hopefully, you guys did enjoy this tropical update. If you guys like this tropical update, hit the like button. If you really do like my channel, hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell notifications so you never miss an upload. If you guys have questions about this, you can put in the comment section down below. I will answer your guys' questions. I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.